Turn up desktop audio. Let me hit start recording this time so I can actually record it and save it as a podcast. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 44 of Zed Daily. I have my homie Bob from Award Racing with us today. How you doing, my friend?
I'm good, dude. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Had a nice day in the Fibonacci 3.0 yesterday. Just trying to race in the pity point right now. But before we get into Zed Run and talk about me or whatever, I want to talk about you. How did you get into crypto?
So I got into crypto pretty much quite heavily the start of this year. I've kind of dabbled since like 2017. I started mining. I started mining like Ethereum back in the day. Not heavily, just a little bit on PC. Earned a few quid here and there. And then the start of this year really. Obviously the bull run was starting and it was everywhere really, like all over the news. And I kind of thought it's time to kind of get back into it. I had some mining wallets that had kind of been dormant for a little while, and I thought, let's try and get back into them and find what money I got and invest it. So I did that, and then I was looking for things to put it in, basically. And I started searching for crypto games because I'm a bit of a gamer and I like to play games. So I wondered if there was a way for me to kind of combine the two. So I was Googling like crypto games, and then I found a website that listed probably about 50 different games that I'd never heard of. A lot of them were just gambling games and stuff like that. And then I saw Zed Run, and it immediately like piqued my interest because it's kind of self-explanatory, really. It didn't take too much to kind of understand the core of it, basically. So yeah, straight away, I was hooked, really. Second I found Zed, I went into it as heavy as I could at the time, which wasn't heavy enough, considering this was back in like January. I wish I'd have thrown everything I had at it, but I kind of just took my time, kind of eased into it a little bit, and yeah, slowly and steadily, here we are, really.
So, how were horses being released at this time? Was it still in drops? Was it breeding, secondary market? Like, how were you buying horses?
So when I started, the first ever time I booted up Zed, you had horses on the homepage, in the marketplace, basically, and you had pretty much any horse you wanted to pick from, you could find on the marketplace. It's obviously not like that anymore, but yeah. And I ended up snagging a Z8 for, it was like $80, and a Z10 for $15, and just kind of started from there. But yeah, back in the day, it was all just on the marketplace, all in Zed. Nice and easy. You weren't stressed. You weren't clicking to quickly buy it as quick as you could, like in those drops. That was kind of crazy. Um, but yeah, that's how I
So,
started.
what were like the first horses that you bought going into that marketplace and buying your first horses? Like, what were the names of those?
The first one was Tenacity. That was a Z8 Butte. Obviously Genesis, and then I bought the Z10. Um, Starting off, I'm not the kind of person to kind of go all in without knowing more about it. So I put in what I could afford to put in, which wasn't a lot. Because I didn't want to risk it too much without doing kind of a due diligence or research. So yeah, it kind of started there, and slowly and steadily I built my way up and flipped up a little bit, and then started buying like the Zabos and the Finnies and stuff, a bit more high end. But yeah, it all started just with some cheap Buterins, and got in at the right time, pretty much.
And so you said a Z8 was like $70 and a Z10 was like 15. So now,
Mm-hmm.
what are the floor on
Good
those?
times.
What are the floor on those now on secondary?
I don't even know, man. You'd have to tell me. Um, I can have a look, but I imagine. I mean, I was fortunate. So they were both good horses. They're both, Tenacity's got, I think, like a 13% win rate, and they're all paid. And then the Z10 was Mysterious Assassin, and that's got like a 12% win rate, I think.
Mm.
And they're both, well, I hope they're profitable. I haven't really looked for a while, but they used to be. Yeah.
So how'd you move on from those guys? You got these two guys' horses. You continued to do your research. Like, what was your next phase? You said that you flipped up, or you're trying to flip up to Zabos. Like, what was phase two of award racing?
So yeah, so the third horse I got lucky. I won it in a giveaway from Zed Gazette. Um, Early on, he won won this giveaway on Twitter, and I think only like 30 people probably even bothered entering it back in the day. Um, so won that Z10, still got that, I kept that. But then basically I started hitting up all the OGs like Bob the Nailer. He was selling just because his stable was so big. He was selling so many back then. Um, so yeah, I started buying Z10s off him, and because that's kind of when the market really started to peak. Everyone was kind of getting interested. It was kind of the hot thing. Everyone was leaving Top Shot, coming into Zed. So if you had a Z10, you could flip it for easily 3 times what you paid for it. I think I was paying probably no more than $200 for a Z10 on the secondary at that point, from like Bob, and then you could easily flip it for $600 to $1,000 probably. So yeah, I started doing that, flipping these Z10s, Z9s, and then slowly and steadily I started, like, as the drops were also happening, I was kind of holding the funds that I was making just to put them purchase on the drops to try and maximize, what I could get. And then I started buying the Finnies, and then I sold a few Finnies, saved that money, went back to Bob the Nailer, and then I bought the Z4s. I bought 2 Z4s. I bought Bubs Gold, and I bought another one that was called Q West. Most people know Bubs Gold. No one knows Q West because it was an absolute donkey. But as it goes, it's not a bad trade, I guess.
What's the experience like of buying and racing Bubs Gold compared to any other horse? Was this horse winning a lot more early on to where you're like, maybe I have something here? Did it take a while to figure out? Like, what's the story of Bubs compared to all the other horses that you had at this time?
Yeah, it took a little while. You kind of know it's like fire in a bottle. I knew there was something there, but I didn't know how good it was. I think when I started with Bob, she started in like class 4 or class 3, and then she dropped down to class 4. And I was kind of like, her odds were, I don't know, like 7 or 8 or 6 maybe. I think in class 4 they were easily 6. And I remember thinking like, this horse could be good, but I didn't have the kind of balls to race her in class 1. And then I started reaching out to like Lucky Jack and Poseidon, and I was kind of like asking them for their opinion. Like, do you think this horse could cut it in C1? And they just basically just said, give it a go. Like, stick it in, see what it can do against like the very best. So basically, I found a race with like Breathless Edge and like Ducky and stuff, and I stuck it in that, and it came out with odds of like 9, and I was like, okay, holy shit, I found something good. And yeah, after that, it's kind of just, that's history, I guess. It's just been solid ever since.
Does that change the game for you? Because I know personally, like, there's the game before a beast horse, and then there's like the game after a beast horse. So how did the game change for you after the purchase of Bubs?
It just got, I'd say I kind of fell more and more down the rabbit hole. Like, because obviously, because I feel like we're both very similar in like how our stables are kind of matched. When you get a horse like that, it's just like you kind of fall further down the rabbit hole and you keep falling. Like, it kind of just got me so engrossed with Zed. I couldn't really turn back from that point. It kind of just got me more and more interested, wanted to buy more horses, and it's just got better and better, really. But had I not found Bubs, I don't know if I would have been as interested, if that makes sense.
I'm with you.
What about you with diamonds?
Yeah, I wouldn't be this deep or be doing everything I'm doing right now if I didn't pull diamonds, because like
Yeah,
it's just a different game. It's a
it's a game
complete
changer,
different
right?
game, right?
And it just makes it so much more exciting because like there's nothing better than like earlier today, Bubs won like a 250 quid race, which is, I don't know, that's like $350 or something like that. And it's just being able to do that for a smaller stable is just so exciting. Like we're not the kind of peak stables, we're the smaller stables. So to find these smaller horses and to be able to race them in the biggest races, especially like you've been racing them in like the Netflix races and stuff, and to be able to do that, it's a game changer. It's huge. And it
Yeah.
just makes the game so exciting.
And it's fun because you're going up against guys that got the bankrolls. Like a lot of these people just came in and straight bought these horses like for massive premiums. But like we're the guys that kind of either got lucky or like, yeah, we just got lucky, right? But there's also
I got lucky.
some conviction with the luck. We didn't just sell the horse the next day and take our profits and walk. Like we obviously got addicted to the game, had some conviction to hold on to the horse, and it paid off.
Well, yeah, because like I know you've had offers on diamonds and I had offers on Bubs. I'm pretty sure never from like arbitrage or any like big stables, but I've been offered like fairly decent money, pretty life-changing money for me. And I'm in Zed for the long haul. Like if you believe in the long-term game, then I'm in no rush to cash out. Like making 30 to 50K is nice, but who knows where it's going to go.
Right. And you could take the guaranteed one-time payment, or you could take the continuous profit that Bubs is going to give you over time, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like new horses are going to come out. She might not be as strong as she is now or has been, but it's the same as diamonds. On their day in that race, you don't know. Like it's got the chance of winning, and as long as it's got that chance of winning, I don't want to sell it. I can't sell it. I can't sell Bubs. Never going to even be something I really think about. Unless, maybe WAGMI comes in with a crazy offer, but I doubt it.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. So does the fam know about Bubs? Like, do the friends, the family, is like Bubs now well known, a part of the family?
Yeah, man. Yeah. My mom's like nearly like every day. My mom's like, send me some races. I'm like, Mom, I race Bubs like 20 times a day. Like, I'm not sending you like a link to every race. Like, get out of here.
You trying to get spammed all day? Just all right. Here's another $5, $10.
Yeah, if it's not through like Discord, it's my mom. Like, but yeah, like all the friends. Like I try. Like my fiance gets so bored of me talking about Zed all the time. It's I try and when I leave the house, I try and forget about it. But it's a passion, Like I do this full time now, and it's hard to kind of stop. Everyone you kind of meet, especially because like a lot of people are interested in it, where they'll ask you about it and because they want to know. And then I'll find myself talking about it for a good like hour, and then my fiance will just be fuming, like when we get home, because all I've done is gone around a family's house and spoke about like NFTs and Zed for like the last 2 hours.
And that's all she hears about anyway. So it's like, God damn it, I can't escape this.
Yeah, she can't escape it.
That's funny, man. So what is like, how did you hook up with Zombie? Like, have you guys been long-term friends, and like, what's the story there?
No, it's a bit of a weird one. We all just kind of met in Zed. There was 4 of us to begin with. There was me, Zombie, Cody, and Lucy. We all kind of found each other just on Zed, like in the Discord and stuff like that. I used to, like early on, I used to write like articles for like beginners in Zed. And I think a couple of them reached out to me after like they read one of the articles. And I think I just spoke to Zombie just in Discord, just kind of like in general. And then one day I was talking to Lucy and I was like, let's just kind of create like a little private UK Discord kind of thing. So we did that, but the first 4 members were me, Joe, Cody, and Lucy. And then Cody and Lucy's recently sold from Zed, but then me and Joe kind of just always kept talking, and it was always obviously about like Zed and stuff because we're both like degens and completely addicted. But yeah, it kind of went from there. We didn't know each other before Zed, met entirely through it, and now we're in like WhatsApps and talking like every day, really.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, that's cool, man. I would have assumed like you guys were best friends for a long time. But going back to something that I wanted to ask you a couple of minutes ago, how do you have the conviction to go full time? Because I've went full time as well, but explain making that jump, because you can kind of see like where you're gonna land, but you still don't know if like it's a hard landing, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like a calculated risk. So for a while, I've been making enough monthly revenue to be able to pay the bills. It's not like life changing money. It's not a crazy amount of revenue I'm bringing in each month, but I knew it was enough to pay the bills. And the second I'd hit that 3 months in a row, I kind of had enough conviction to start to be like, okay, let's leave the job now. I'm kind of getting bored of it, and I'm spending all my time on Zed when I'm working anyway. So I might as well just go all in and then try and turn that money that I'm making and try and double it. So it's no longer just paying the bills; it's paying the bills, and now it's paying for kind of my lifestyle as well. Um, so I've got my stable, award racing, but then I've also about I don't know 5 6 months ago, I set up another stable with my friend um, that we both have like a 50-50 ownership of, and that's called Award Star Racing. No, I can't even remember the name of it. Um, I think it's like Award Racing Stars now. We changed it recently, and that's got like a bunch of different horses in. But that stable provides like that's got a few like Z4 Genesises and Finneys, and that provides loads of our monthly income. So I was kind of like safe. I'd say I was fairly comfortable making the jump. It is scary because obviously you don't really know, especially as I left in like August to kind of go full time. That's when the Z market really started to kind of collapse and secondary sales started to go down, and I was like, oh god, here we go. Like I've made a bad mistake. But we did the groundwork before I left my job. We focused heavily on Genesis. So even if said prices were to drop, we're still going to have the breeding income. And we also got lucky with getting good races. They're not like arbitrage standard races, but they're solid races to the point where I was still more than comfortable that they were going to bring in more than enough money. But like you said, it's a risk, but you've got to kind of take that leap. And I'm not as young as you are, but so I'm 29. To me, like if it didn't work out, I'm a freelance like photographer and videographer anyway, so I can always just pick it straight back up and make a bit more money if I need to. But yeah, so far Zed's sufficed. It's done the job, and I don't look on going back to being normal. I wanted to stay in DJ mode for as long as I can.
No, I'm with you, man. I'll be here with you as well. Do you have like a set parameter? Like, I'm only running $5 races. We only do this. We need to make X amount of money by this day on the month so we can pay the bills. Like, what is your system to make profit and to continue do that? Like, continuously do that over months.
So on the joint stable, me and my friend kind of take charge on that. We don't really set targets. We just we kind of forecast, and we know roughly what we should be getting each month. And then so I have that stable, which I know can generate a few thousand a month. And then I've got my personal stable where I've got Bubs and stuff, and that's kind of where I can take more risks. So that stable for me, the one I've got with my friend, that's more of the kind of safe stable. That's where we rely on the studs and the racing to the lower kind of end fees. And then it's my stable that, if I do a good month, I'll stick Bubs in the 350 or $500 race or whatever it is. So it's kind of a mix. Some months will be great because the other stable will do well, and then my stable will also do really well. And then some months it's kind of not as good, but I've always got the kind of safety by having the other stable, and that's we'll just run $2.50 races and $5 races, and just try and stick to what we know our horses can do. Okay. And that's kind of it, really.
I like that. So, because I'm not in the same boat to where I run a system like you do, but I do this, like I play this game to pay my bills. So how do you go about paying bills? Because like one of the things like I'm trying to do is just like get a crypto.com card, and then you can just send your ETH there and then spend from there. Like, do you just go back to exchange and then cash out to bank from there, or do you have a crypto card that you can just spend from?
No, I don't. I mean, I probably should look into doing it. Currently, I just take it out of Zed, and then I mean, also I take out the bare minimum. I literally pay the bills and leave everything in Zed because I'm a fucking idiot. But yeah, so normally I will just take it from Zed, stick it back into Coinbase, and then from Coinbase, stick it in the bank and put a little bit aside for taxes. But I don't have to pay taxes until April, so I'll find out what I got to do then. Really,
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to it.
Yeah, I forget about saving for taxes, so it's gonna be fun, man. I never do that.
Yeah, boy. Yep. April is going to be an expensive month, I think.
So,
I'm gonna have to sell some stuff.
you said you do freelance photography. Like, have you ever considered? Because I saw you like to photograph like racing cars. Like, have you ever considered possibly selling those as NFTs or trying to do like a project or collaboration with a driver or something like that?
Yeah, it'd be cool. I'd like to say yes, I've thought about it, but honestly, no. I've literally just degen straight into Zed. Like as much I do buy the NFTs, but mine's always just solely focused on Zed. In the future, it would be something that I probably would look into. Starting like a collection and stuff and trying to focus on. But like you said, I've took photos of like sports cars and stuff like that and high end vehicles. It would be cool to do like a collaboration and stuff with maybe a driver or a company in the future, but right now, because I've only been doing this 6 months full time, like I know it sounds like a long time, but I want to try and build bigger and bigger into Zed. Like I'd still class myself as being like a small stable, but I want to build it to the point where, same as you probably, like you just want to keep getting bigger and bigger and getting better and better. So I feel like if I take my eye off the ball now, when it's still fairly early days and Zed's still growing, I might be missing like an opportunity within it. So down the line, yeah, that'd be awesome. But right now, just fully focused on Zed.
Cool. So, what is bigger and bigger to you? Is it more Genesis for breeding? Is it more racers? Is it like what is the next level of award racing?
I mean, it's kind of like ever evolving, right? I think if we'd go back 3 months, I would say my stable's sole focus is like breeding. I want to breed good horses. And then when they made like the breeding changes, it kind of got hard to make solid income through breeding. So we had to change our like complete focus onto racing. So then we started buying the races. So I think the only honest answer is you want to be able to do both, right? You want to have a stable that's got solid breeders and the solid racers. You can't you can't put your eggs in one basket in any kind of investment scenario. And Zed's the same. It used to be breeding. Now we've got the racers. Now I think we've got a bit of both. It's just kind of growing that and expanding that as much as possible to the point where, like a diamond hands where you've got the best of both.
Right. So, like, what is your guys' strategy when it comes? I'll start with breeding and then I'll go to racing. So, what is the strategy when it comes to breeding? Do you guys have certain combinations that you've come to like? Are you using a blood tool? Like, what have you found in breeding, and what is your process in going about breeding these horses?
Yeah. So recently, so we bought Genesis Zarbos and we bought Z2 Legendaries. So we've kind of stuck to producing like Z6s mostly. But recently, we were just talking earlier, like Finnies are kind of selling like hotcakes in the minute. And for good reason, because they're the best like bang for buck, right? In terms of like breeding value. So it's always kind of we've been focused on producing Zarbos typically, but now I think we are going to shift to selling and buying more Finnies, just because that seems to be the way the market's going, and just from the data that's come out, because we recently purchased the Zed breeding tool, like you really, and yeah, we've just learned from that Finnies are really good value for money, so look to spend more money there really.
Cool. And then so trying to find a racer, are you trying to find them in their early days and maybe notice something that the current owner hasn't noticed, or are you going for proven racers?
So again, it's a bit of both depending on the stable. For my personal stable, I like to be a degen and buy like used. So I like the kind of excitement and the gamble, because that's what Bubs was. Bubs was a Z4 Genesis UU, and I like that. I like not knowing what it is that you've got. Same as the diamonds, right? Like, I'd like to ask kind of you this question, because like obviously you landed on diamonds, right? You kind of got the jackpot Z2, but now you've hit it. Do you still think, like, when you're purchasing maybe like a Z2, would you buy the reliable racer that you know you're going to get fixed income for more, or are you going to buy the cheap one to try and get that diamond hit again?
I'd probably go for the hit because you could probably buy so much Z2s for the price of that one premium, right? I would just say,
Yeah.
hopefully one of these hits for the price that I could pay for like this proven one.
Yeah, I've been thinking that, but I've been buying a fair few Z2s recently, and they're all trash.
Man, I
It
was
sucks.
looking at the market the other day. There was this midnight black one, and I was just like, nah. It was bred by Taco Tuesday and some
Hmm.
other Z1 racing horse, and then someone in Sean versus all chat bought it, and it's like a really good horse. I'm like, son of a bitch. I should have
Yeah.
just bought that one instead of looking at it.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than like checking out a horse when you've been staring at it for like a month. It's like, ah, shit. Shoulda, woulda, coulda, though, man.
What's the best horse you passed up on? Like you wanted to make a move on, you didn't, and then it turned out to be a monster. If you have done that.
Um, I probably haven't, because I like typically until like the last 2 months, I've never really looked on the secondary market. Everything that I've bought pretty much in the stable that I can think of was all in the drops. I think it's only been like the last few months where I've started looking at buying on the secondary more, just because like I'm a proper tight ass. I don't like wasting money if I don't have to. So the secondary has always just kind of been like, why buy in a secondary when I can buy on a drop?
Mm.
But and that was fine for a while, but obviously no more drops now. And just with the market dipping, I've just been looking for like buying opportunities, basically.
Okay, cool. And so Lucky Jack says in chat, he says, ask him about the England versus US duel versus Lucky Jacks. Love you, Bob.
The USA versus England. Oh, he's on a. Oh, yeah, yeah. So that'd be the old stable jewels. Yeah. Me and Joe from Zombie Racing tried to take on LJ, and LJ got lucky. But
Mm.
mm-hmm.
Two versus one.
But 2 versus 1. Yeah, I mean, I thought Joe would show up. Like, Joe's supposed to be the big boy stable. I was just there for like taking part, and I think, oh, it was so close. I nearly had him. So I think I got to 4 wins, and then LJ was on like 3 wins, and then LJ won like the last 2 races and took all the glory home for America.
Damn. USA.
Good times.
USA.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of touched on the roadmap. Did the roadmap and them saying that they're not going to drop any more Genesis horses was that the point to where you're like, I'm just going to go buy secondary now?
Yeah, I think so. No, I've been purchasing the odd bit and bob before that, but the second they said no more drops, just that signals there's no more unraced, unbred Genesis horses coming, right? So I went to the highest kind of band that I could afford, which was a Z5 Finney. Looked for Genesis unraced, unbred, and just bought. Well, I bought one. That's all I can afford. But and then I bought a Z8 off Lacey as well, just because like if there's going to be no more Genesis is coming, then the values are only going to go up, right?
Right. And
So
now, when you
that was
bought
kind of my
that,
strategy.
Finney, was it unraced, unbred again, or okay,
Mm,
nice. I like that.
yeah, but yeah, and I've bred it, but I've not raced it. I want to race it, but I don't know. I've got like a wedding and I've got house extensions to pay for, and it's just like I don't know. I want to race it so bad. I'll
Maybe
probably be drunk one day and I'll race it, but
just wait till the tournament, man. Is like don't race it during the pity point, so at least we can possibly qualify for a tournament while we start,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah, I probably will. Like I bought it, I think, right at the end of the maiden, and if I'd have bought it right at the start, I might have raced it. But I had a Z10, I think I raced for the maiden, but I don't remember racing it. I must have got drunk, been out, and then come come home, and then it wasn't until like the next morning where I was looking. I was like, what the fuck? Like I've raced my Z10. I was like, shit. But yeah, I think we've all been there.
Oh damn! You didn't even remember when you woke up the next morning. It was just like one race.
And I don't even think I was that drunk, but yeah, apparently maybe I was.
It happens, man.
Maybe I was. Yeah.
So how much hours are you putting into this into Zed Run a day?
Probably like a good 5 or 6 minimum. Like I've always, I'd say I've got Zed up more than any other website. So I'd comfortably say 6 hours minimum. But like the good thing about Zed is like if you go out, then you can just do it on your phone, right? Like you never really kind of escape it. So I'm always kind of on it, I suppose. Like even when I'm going out to the pub in like 2 hours, I'm still gonna go on it then. Like I'm not gonna take my laptop, but I'm still gonna keep on top of racing, and because like I mean I'm like the furthest from like Kevin and like arbitrage. Like he's always talking like like they're on it all the time, and they're always trying to maximize profits. Like I don't do that. I'm way more like laid back and stuff, but I'm still gonna go to the pub, and I'll go on my phone and I'll race. But I'm after a few beers, I'm not really caring what races I'm putting them in. I'm just doing it for fun at that point. Like I'm still at the point where like Zed, even though it's a job, Zed like it's all about fun for me, right? Because if it's not fun, then I don't want to do it. And what's the point in having a job that you don't want to do? So
Right. And I think the best shit about that is like, man, when you're out and about and you just say, fuck it, I'm going to enter this $100 race. You put your phone down, then you come back, you're like, oh shit, like I got like 700 bucks in my account right now. And then you just go see your horse got a dub or something. It's like,
yeah,
it's so cool because you can put it away, come back, and just have more money than whatever you would have had before, right?
Yeah, man. Like the best thing's like when you put on a big race before you go to sleep, and then you wake up in the morning. It's like, holy shit! All right. Like that's the best feeling. Like that's what I love about crypto. Like it's always fucking going. Which is a downside because I never sleep these days. Because you fucking Americans are always doing talks late at night, and it's like, oh shit, I gotta like check out this stream or watch Pony Plug or something. And then I'm up to like 4 a.m. and it's like, oh shit. But
so
it's all good.
What time is it for you, like right now where you're at?
6:34
p.m.
Yeah.
Damn. So you stay up till like, because Pony Plug goes live at like 5 p.m. for me. That's like fucking 7-8 hours from now.
Yeah. So normally Pony Plug tends to go live about 12 o'clock, I think, here. So it starts at midnight and then it'll finish about 4 normally. But I like it, What are you gonna do? I don't want to spend the entire day catching up on stuff. I like kind of watching it live because if someone drops like some alpha, then shit, I want to go try and buy something or try and get into a race where I know I'm going to beat Zook or something. Like it's just fun.
Do you like I'm trying to like does like information like did you hear about the Red Village like right away, or was it kind of like the next day, or did you like not even get into that? I'm just trying to see like when information, like if a US drops a press release, like how quick you get that.
Well, it doesn't come by like pigeon, so we get it pretty quick.
Right. Yeah, right. But I'm just saying, like, are you asleep at this
No, I
time?
know what you mean. Yeah, I know what you mean. Normally, I'm trying to think back to the Red Village. I can't really remember when they dropped it. I mean, obviously, like they kind of drop it a little bit in advance, so you kind of get like a heads up. But normally, I think drops are like 10 p.m. here. I think. So I mean, so the Zed drops, they were awful. Normally, they were like they'd start at like 12, but then I can't remember the one, the Echo, whichever one they like really fucked up, and then they had to postpone it. That like everyone in the UK was like up to like 7 o'clock, like in the morning, just like all the way through the night, just like Zed being like, give it like 2 hours and we'll be back. And then obviously they weren't. It's just like sometimes it's a pain in the ass, but that's just nature of the beast. It's a cool thing. It's global, but it's also a downside with time zones.
Right. Yeah. I don't think I've ever dealt with like or heard of so many time zones now that I'm like interviewing people. I'm like GMT, UTC.
Hmm.
I'm like, holy shit, this gets out of hand real quick.
No, no, yeah, because like obviously me and you were supposed to be streaming in like 2 hours time, and I was like, wait, fuck, no, I thought we were doing it earlier. It's like, ah, shit.
Yeah, there's like
It's a lot to
GMT
keep on top of.
and then GMT +8. I'm like, yo, like this is a lot, man.
Uh-huh. Yeah, man. It's too
So
much. It's too much.
if like if you had the keys to Zed and you could change one thing, you could bring back odds. You can enter 3 races at one time. Like, what would you change in Zed Run right now and why?
Um, I'd like breeding to change a little bit. I'd like breeding costs still to be tweaked. I don't think they're perfect. But I think so. Basically, my biggest gripe is there's not a big enough difference between the Genesis, legendaries, and exclusive and all that. Um, Genesis should be by far like a premium. You should be paying for that. And then if you're going to get a legendary, it should be kind of somewhere in between. But then I think like exclusives and elites and stuff like that, it should be much cheaper because no one's going to pay for like I don't know, like a Naka Z8 or something, and that they're not going to be willing to pay the amount of money that they currently have to, which is why there's not many being bred. Um, I'd like to see those kind of changes like implemented, like you said. Odds, I'd like to see a variation of odds back, just because I loved odds. Odds were so cool. Like, yeah, it gave you too much too quick, um, but there's got to be like a balance. I think so. I think if they like implemented more variables to races, right? Like they've teased like altitude being one, weather being one, things like that. If you brought back odds, obviously in their old format they were too fixed, right? Like first race, I kind of had an idea Bubs was going to be special. You had an idea Diamonds was going to be pretty special. Um, and obviously you do want like a process of discovery, but if they're bringing in like weather, if they if say they didn't just say it's going to be rainy, right? If they said it's going to have like a 60% or a 40% chance of rain, like the odds that they give you might not actually be the final odds for that race. That makes sense. Like I just think it by adding more variables, you could still use the old odds system because they wouldn't always be 100% correct. Because weather would throw the race off. Like if you do have a wet racer and you're putting it in a sunny race where it's got like a 60% chance of being sunny, and then it turns out it's raining, the odds don't really count too much. And then you're going to have to discover how good your horse is at racing throughout these different weather types and all that. And I think it might make odds work to some degree. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay. Yeah, I like it. I would probably have to like write it down and like really sit here and like formulate it out to like see like what I would want to do. I know Kevin has said, or Kevin from Arbitrage says like our odds were really easy for him to identify a horse like that. So I'm not sure if it's gonna just kind of go back to where they can find these all-star killers within their first 10 races, but I don't know if they
Yeah,
can
but
already do that right now, right?
exactly, yeah. Like everyone's kind of struggling with fire and stuff and flames, and they're still finding like absolute don horses. So the argument of just doing it to stop arbitrage from finding these good horses, like they're doing it anyway, like, and they're going to continue to do it. Arbitrage, like, they're smart dudes. They're going to keep finding like the 1% differences that we're missing, and that's just because they're better at the game than us. Like, you you can't just build the game around stopping arbitrage, right? But yeah, if I had the keys, I mean, I change a lot, but I do love it in its current state, but I would like a few things changed. And yeah,
How do you
odds
how do you
being one of them.
feel about the current class system, and then how do you feel about where we're supposed to be going with Elo? Like, how's our current state, and then do you think like Elo is the end all be all that they're hoping it is?
Mm, I don't know with Elo 100%. I don't kind of pretend to understand it all, but from like a gaming perspective, on like League of Legends, for example, um, Elo works there really well, because obviously you've got you've got your different divisions, and then within those divisions, you've got like your classes. To implement that in Zed, I mean, you can have different elo systems, so it depends what elo system they're going to implement. So it's kind of hard to say whether that's going to work, because I don't know what elo system they're bringing in. But in terms of the current state of the classes, like the class, I think it sucks. To be blunt, like class 1 is dead. The paid racing in general right now is dead. Obviously, people are just focusing on the tournaments and stuff, which is fine, but you really do have to try and come up with a system to just make it fair for everyone, and prioritize class 1. I've always hated down classing. I've done it like a bit, which is fine, but I don't want to see horses having to downclass. Like I don't blame arbitrage and everyone that's copied doing it. Like you have to kind of do it to be profitable, but I don't want to see it. There just needs to be a system where you get rewarded the higher up you go. Like in life, like if you're like a great tennis player, you don't earn more by being in like, or like football, like with like soccer, you don't earn more by being in like League 2. You earn more by being in the Prem. Like you want to be in the top leagues, performing against the best players and stuff. And that's how I see Zed. There has to be the bigger prize pools, bigger incentives, bigger sponsorships flooding to the class 1. It has to.
I think you kind of touched on it, because I was going to ask you, how would you incentivize class 1? You kind of said sponsored races. Would you juice the prize pools? Every single prize pool in class 1 is like not just
if you could, like
reduce rake.
Like across I guess it would be something you'd only kind of know by asking everyone within the community, but I would rather have less huge prize pools, and I would rather have on average just slightly larger prize pools by them juicing it with sponsorship money, if that makes sense. So instead of having like one Netflix race where it benefits 12 people, I would rather the funds from that Netflix race get split up for like a 3-month period, just to juice every entry, every race. So you're getting like a slight multiplier on every race across the board for a while. I think, like, obviously I still want to see these big sponsored races because they're sick, but you've got to try and incentivize everyone to want to be in class 1. Because like Bubs is on the precipice between like class 2 and class 1. And I obviously try and keep her in class 2 just because it's like the racing volume's higher than it is in class 1. Like, and that sucks because I want to be competing in the bigger races in class 1, but what's the point?
How's the competition in class 2 right now with everybody coming down there?
It's getting tougher. It is getting tougher. Like I used to be able to put Bubs in any kind of big prize pool and be like, she's got like a 20% chance of winning. Whereas now it's like, sometimes I'm seeing races and I'm like, shit, like I don't even want to put Bubs in some, especially like now arbitrage, I've bought a few more horses. Like, fuck, like arbitrage is everywhere now. Can't hide from Kev. He's coming.
And the thing that makes them different is that they're everywhere, but they know how to stay in their class and not go up. Like someone else could have that same amount of stable, but all those horses will eventually work their way up to class 1. They know how to cover every base and stay in that base.
Yeah, they're geniuses. They are geniuses. Like, and I know like everyone's tried copying it ever since that kind of format came out, and Zed have tried their best to slow down the declassing process, but they're still masters of it, right?
They buy the keys to do it. Like, not everybody has a key to do it, but when you have a key of like a horse that can actually do that, then yeah, they can turn the lock and unlock it. Everybody else comes and tries to unlock that door, but they don't have that key to do it.
Yeah, because like I'd say like the easy excuse would be saying, oh, they've got the bankroll to do it, but a lot of these big stables have got the bankroll to do it, but they don't do it as well as arbitrage. It's just, it's impressive and it's really annoying. I'd like them to stop.
What's
I'm trying to win a little bit more.
What's the biggest thing you've learned from arbitrage? Like, take away either scouting horses or either just day-to-day racing or just philosophy on how to play the game.
More philosophy, I think. I've always thought you have to be like, my kind of interpretation was you have to be in class one. There's like a kind of stigma that you get for being in class one, like a bit of like a prestige, right? Like you should want to be up there. And that was just like a black and white thing. Like if my horse could be in class one, it's going straight to class one, and that's a good thing. Um, and then kind of when they started doing the whole down classing thing, I was slow to kind of change how I thought about that. To begin with, I was like, these guys are breaking the game. Like they're really annoying. Stop it. But then I kind of just came to see like they're just playing the game better. It's as simple as that. They're just playing the game better than everyone else. Like if there's an exploit there, you should take it within reason. Um, it's not on us to kind of try and break the game and try and boost our ROI. Like, well, that's on us to try and make us as profitable as possible. It's on Zed to set the parameters in which we can do it. So it's Zed's kind of fault. It's not arbitrage's fault. Whereas to begin with, my philosophy was they're like gaming the system. But now I do try and downclass where I can, and because it's making you more money, right?
Right.
Why would you not?
But as like getting into the game, it would only make sense that you'd want to be in class one, because I was in the same club as you. I'm like, why the hell is Vanilla Bean in class four? I'm like, you guys, like, people talk about these horses, but they're in class four. Like, what the hell? Like, you would think
exactly.
all the best horses want to be in class one.
Yeah, like when I started, you had like Poseidon and Doofy like just tearing it up in class one. And I remember like the first ever race where I put Bubs in against them, I was like, holy shit, I'm racing against like the big boys and I'm competing. Like it was really fucking cool. Like as sad as it is, like I was like, holy shit, this is so cool. And then I think it kind of back in that day, it had the prestige. Like it felt good to be in class one. It felt like you're one of the best horses. But then obviously now there's more horses as well. And now class one's just a graveyard, and it's like the complete opposite. Like no one wants to be in class one because the volume's so low.
Right.
So hopefully like over the next few months that will be changed and the elo system does fix it. How it's going to fix it, I don't know. I just hope it works.
Yeah, I'm there with you, man. I think just looking at what arbitrage is doing right now, I think the play is the U-shape horses, because their elo is going to be so high, but they can beat the top 100 elo horses. So if you can
Natural
race against
or
natural use, or I think Princess of Power is ranked like 300 right next to Dank, and then top 10 is like Billions, Artois, but you can see like Princess of Power can beat all of those horses in the top 10. So it's like those horses are going to be pretty good, but it's going to be interesting to see like if they do win one of those races, how that's going to play out, right? Because then their elo would skyrocket, but then if they lose one race, like, would it plummet?
Yeah,
very
it's
interesting.
It's going to be interesting to see how it's implemented and how big it affects certain horses, because I think some horses are going to obviously skyrocket and some are going to be way lower, at least for a while, than they probably should be on paper, and it'll be interesting to see. But I don't know. I don't know how the elo system's gonna come into effect, but I just hope it works, because it needs like the class systems. It's lacked like innovation for so long now. Since like January, the classes have pretty much been the same. Like the game's been really similar. So going back to another thing, if I had the keys, like I think the breeding algo will be a massive, massive change when they bring in this new breeding algo. Whenever that is done, that's going to be huge, because just having like certain, like if your horse could have like a trait where, I can't remember who suggested it, but like if your horse had a trait where it could produce twins, or like random things, like if your horse could have something like specific about it and unique, then that adds so much value to your horse. And if they ever do implement things like that within the algo, that would be really cool, I think.
Yeah,
Where your
that is
horse,
cool.
because just to be able to produce like a twin or things like that will just make these horses that maybe are a bit donkeyish, make them really unique and give them a bit of value.
Does it scare you at all when they say algo change? Like, even if
Yep.
they're fucking with the breeding, like potentially Bubs Gold could just become a shit
Yeah,
horse
man.
after that.
Yeah, it fucking terrifies me. It
I'm
really
scared
does.
as well.
Yeah, especially because like I think we put so much of our like stock into our like studs, like diamonds and bubs. Like our horse, like our entire stable is like focused on these one horses, right? We're not like these big stables that have got tons of Z1s and stuff. We put all our eggs into bubs and diamonds. So like if they just made one change and it completely crippled both of our like star horses, we're screwed. We're screwed. So it scares the shit out of me. Yeah, I don't think they'll ever do it to the point where they'll completely fuck over. Maybe they will. I don't know, but yeah, it scares me. I just hope it never gets to the point where it's you can't completely cripple some of the best horses in the game. I don't think. I think too many people would be like, you can't suddenly like instantly devalue, I don't know, like a £50,000 horse to nothing in the space of like an hour. Like that's not cool.
The thing is, if they accidentally do it, is the thing. It's like not even intentionally, but if they accidentally fuck up something because like this had like a whatever side effect which fucked up the horses, like that's something that scares me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like it's like when BG goes into like starts posting things on Twitter and he's analyzing all this, and you can see Zed being like, no, like there was definitely no like race and algo change, and it's just like maybe, like maybe if Zed weren't aware where they tweaked something and it did create like an algo change, but they're just not aware of it. Like you said, that it'd be killer because like a lot of my personal stables income relies solely on Bubs. Like all the racing profit is Bubs, pretty much. So if they made Bubs a shit horse, then I'd be sad. I'd be really sad.
If I had unlimited budget and I said, "Hey, I want to buy Bubs Gold from you. How much are you gonna sell them to me for?"
I'd say buy my house,
All right,
and then
I
you
like
can
it.
have it. I think because like that's kind of my goal within Zed, pay off the house, and then from there it's just it's just fun, right? I mean, it's fun now, but I'm doing it with like a goal in mind, and I want to hit that. Yeah, for Bob's, I don't know. I've been offered more than I like feel comfortable turning down, but yeah, it's just a horse I want to hold on to forever, really.
And who's to
Unless it could.
say you can't win a big race and keep the horse, right? Like that's my
Mhm.
whole thing is if you know you have a
Yeah,
racer, you can also win these big pots too.
yeah. If these like $1 million races start kicking in like the next year or two, we both have horses that can compete in these races. Like it doesn't matter. I could have, I don't know, like 20 grand, 30 grand, which would be nice, and I could then use that to buy more Z2s. But are they going to be able to compete in these future massive prize pools? That's all I think about. Like, which is probably a more risky strategy, but well, we're all degen, so that's just what we do, right?
Yeah. And your game changes after that point. You're then if you sell, you're playing a breeding
Yeah.
game to where you have to continuously put in money to where you're
Mm-hmm.
very unlikely to make a horse of Bubs Gold or Diamonds caliber again, right?
Yeah, exactly, and that's kind of my entire thinking behind it. Um, if I sold her, then I'm not gonna be able to afford a like for like. I don't think because like if I sold a Z4 Bubs Gold, I'd want to buy a Z2 or a Z1, and for that budget, I'm not going to get anything near like the same racing caliber. So stick with it, see what happens, see where Zed goes. Like you say, like I'm going to go down with the ship. It's kind of my thinking as well.
Right. It's because if you pulled a diamond or you pulled not even a diamond, but you hit like you hit the treasure chest. So it's like and you see the potential of this game. So it's like you guys have all the room to make it, but you have all the room to fuck it up. I'll stay with you if you
Mm-hmm.
make it, but if you fuck it up, I'll be here as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to support them through thick and thin. Like I do give Zed shit, and like I do kind of step back every now and again because like you get burnt out or but the last like 2 months they've made really good changes and I feel like as a community we can kind of feel that you can kind of like it's just like a wave like it kind of it went pretty low like a good 3-4 months ago and ever since then it's just been picking up and their team's starting to come together now and it just feels like especially with the roadmap, it feels like we're aiming for stuff again now. The last like 4 months, we were just kind of like walking through the dark, not really knowing where Zed was going. And now we've got a roadmap. We've got stuff like objectives and targets to hit. As long as they hit them, then I'm gonna support them. Like,
I'm with you, man.
going down with the shit, dude.
Hey,
going down with the shit.
we'll get some scuba gear or something,
Oh.
scuba gear or something. Hold our breath. We'll be good.
Yeah,
We
man.
can breathe underwater.
But no, I am pretty optimistic on Zed, especially like medium term. Short term's like a gamble, who knows? But I'm fairly bullish long term, just because like the roadmap seems solid. It'll be interesting to see what the Zed token can do. I'm not expecting like miracles from it. It's not going to change too much, but just having like the skins and the racetracks and all that kind of start to kind of come into the game slowly, there's no reason not to be bullish.
I'm 100% with you,
So,
man.
Yeah.
You got any other projects, like any new mints you're looking forward to that like hasn't minted yet? Project you're super excited for? It's coming out this month, next month. What project is it?
The Red Village, probably. Red Village. I bought 2 on the first drop. Again, so all I could afford. I got an R2 and an R3. I would have liked fucking an R1,
Me
but
too.
beggars can't be choosers. But yeah, now we've got the Mystic drop coming, so we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, I don't get involved in too much. Everything that I buy, I'm a bit like a ECS stable. Everything I buy tends to go down. Yeah. And when I sell it, it goes up. So like I bought Alien Friends.
Ooh.
Bought one 3 weeks ago for 0.08. And I gave it like an hour, and I was like, and then I saw something else, and I was like, shit, I'm gonna sell this and then buy that. So I sold the Alien for like 0.06, and now the floor is like 1.3. It's just like, shit, I'm just gonna stick to Zed. So
that's what I tell myself, man, dude. I'm like, fuck,
Yeah.
I get burned. I'm paying gas. I'm like, I just need to stick to what you know, right?
Yeah, like I know I can make decent money on Zed. Every time I like step out of Zed, like I'll build up like a nice pot, and I'll be like, all right, yeah, I want to treat myself. I want to go like buy like a new like NFT, and then yeah, it always just goes down. I'm just like, fuck this. I'm just gonna stick to what I know. Stick to my horses.
I'm with you, man.
Can't go wrong.
No.
It's not done like Lucky Jack and stuff bad as it. So it's good enough for him. It's good enough for me.
Let's go. You got any questions for me, Bob?
Do I have any questions for you? I think I had one. I wrote it down a while ago. I can't remember if it was any good. One question. I remember you were on with Lacey one point, and you said you had this setup because you like were making beats, or what's that all about?
I just that was my thing, man. I just wanted to be like a music producer, just make hip hop beats. So I bought this laptop around 2020. Yeah, like right around 2020. I bought it with the damn stimulus check. And yeah, just bought a laptop, just wanted to make beats, and was doing that for a little bit. And then I bought this camera because we had like there was like the whole COVID shit going on. We had mass George Floyd protests, so I wanted to document that. So I got the camera, and then yeah, I just stopped doing beats, and then I had all of this stuff here. Wanted to do YouTube, found Top Shot, and then Zed Run, and then it's like, all right, shit, I got everything for a setup. Laptop is from beats, cameras from history moments. This is from like trying to like record beats and my friends rapping over them. So just kind of took like a bunch of other sectors of my life and plugged them into this.
Yeah, why not, man? That's kind of the same with me, like, because I obviously do like photography and videography. I've already got like all the gear, I got all the lights, even though they're not plugged in now. But it's kind of like, why not, right? Make the most of it. My last question to you is, so me and you have got like proper similar stables, I think, in terms of like we both got like that kind of like 1 star. How do you plan on building yours? Like, how do you plan on building your stable out?
I think it's a breeding game for me. I'm really trying to. I recognize that I can boost the value of diamonds if I can breed a monster from him, because then he's like also a breeder, and then like it's incentive to go and pay that premium stud fee for whoever if like it's shown that he can make a monster. So I think my game plan is to try and control as much diamonds blood as I can, breed a monster, and then just continuously do that, be known as a racing stable but also a quality breeder in some stance, I guess.
Yeah, yeah. With the people that you're breeding with, have you said like you can't sell diamonds blood,
I,
or have you kind of just been like, yeah, we'll give it a go?
um so I'm doing breeding deals. I got a breeding deal soon with Bonnie Parker, Bella, and Dank. Like I don't care what they do with the offspring. Like if they want to sell it, hey, that's up to you, man. Whatever you want to do. But for me
Yeah.
personally, like, yeah, I don't care what they do. If they want to sell it, go for it. But I think most people would probably want to keep it, because especially if it's these Bonnie
Same
Parker.
reason why you do. Yeah.
Exactly, but these horses can also be retired. So if anybody ever retires them and like you actually get a good amount of money, then that you can never go and breed with that horse again, the offspring, but then become valuable, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Deflationary. But I mean, yeah, I can't wait for this like retirement thing to come in, because I've bred, I haven't bred tons with Bubs. I've probably bred about, I think I've bred 7, and they're all mares as well, which is weird. But yeah, she's not bred like many good ones, and I'd love just to retire some of them and like start again.
Bubs is a female, correct?
She is, yeah.
Have you ever considered going and breeding with the Z1?
I bred with I think one Z1. Trying to find out which one it was. I think Bubs. So she bred one called Bubs Sapphire. No, I haven't. Have I not bred with? Oh wait, no, I have bred with a Z1. But it was nothing like special. I've never paid like. I've always just kind of gone for like the cheapest Z1. I feel like I need to do a justice and pay like I don't. It's like what the dude from Bonnie Parker was saying. Like he just does minimums. Like I don't see the point. Like you've got one Morticia that's always on for like 2.5K, or at least like pounds, like probably like $4,000. And I'm like, I'm tempted, but like I can't blow like my month's budget on breeding with a Z1. So it always kind of puts me off. But yeah, I bred with one Z1, I think, and I think Bubs has got a good base ability. I think she breeds good horses, but I've not got like haven't got a breed yet with a high variance. I'm waiting for that variance roll, but it's got to come sooner or later, right?
Yeah.
I've had 7 breeds, and they're all like class 2, class 3. They're all decent, but not anything special.
As long as
Not
you're in
yet.
the game, you can score, man. That's it. You just gotta be playing the
dude.
game, right?
You got to shoot to score, right?
Yes, sir. Last question for you. In chat, Juicy J 55th Street wants to know, you a City fan?
Am I a City fan?
I'm
Hell
guessing.
no.
Okay. No.
Yeah, probably Man City. No, man. I'm an Aston Villa fan.
Who?
So Aston Villa, they're a Birmingham City club. So I'm from like the Midlands, which is obviously bang in the middle of England. Joe's from like up north. So Joe's a bit of a Man City fan, but he's more of a Bolton fan. But yeah, no, I'm not. I'm a Aston Villa fan, sadly, because they're not that good.
It's all good. You'll get like the whole bandwagon people when you guys win a championship. They're like, "Oh, I've been fans for 10 years." Be like, "No, you ain't. No, y'all tripping."
Yeah, it's gonna happen one day, I swear.
Well, sweet, man. I had a fucking good time. Where can people follow you at and contact you at?
Hit me up on Twitter. It's just Award Racing, or on Discord. Same again, Award Racing. But yeah, just send me a DM. I'll get back to all of them at some point.
Cool, man. And then you got any streams with Zombie coming up or anything? Do you guys have like a Twitch?
Zombie does. I just kind of go on whenever he's like, "Yeah, I'm hopping on a stream. Do you want to come on?" I don't take the lead on that. That's all him. So just follow Zombie as well. Would be my advice.
Cool, man. Well, sweet. Thank you so much for your time, Bob. I really appreciate you, my man, and have a great night, my friend.
Cheers, dude.
Peace.
See ya.